I need to find successful Lovable builders to interview for the YouTube channel. But there are thousands of Lovable users and there is no real way to identify which are making good money or which have actually built something genuinely cool. So I'm building an AI submission form that automatically evaluates submissions based on revenue and impressiveness. So I can find these individuals and interview them. So here's what we're building. AI-powered submission form with automatic scoring using Gemini. And an admin dashboard where the admin can manage the applicants and put them into different buckets such as shortlisted, contacted, and in discussion. User authentication with role-based access based on email domain. Event system for competition with registration limits and participant management. Real-time filtering and sorting by score, revenue, and tags. And beautiful landing pages with animated backgrounds and full SEO optimization. And building something like this is actually a very common use case. Whether you're screening for job applicants, qualifying leads, managing contest entries, or finding your best user, you need a way to automatically evaluate and organize submissions instead of just doing it manually. But since this is actually something that I need, you will see real problem solving where the stakes are actually pretty high because I need it to work. Let's get to building. I'm gonna start off by prompting. I'm gonna go into ChatGPT. I want to create something like a Google form for people submitting stuff, but I want to use AI to evaluate their submissions. And when they evaluate their apps, I want to use OpenAI to do that evaluation to see if their apps are relevant enough. And then I want to pick the best apps. And I think if an app is making more than $1,000 a month, then they pass the evaluation. And also if an app is insane enough, if the app is unique enough, cool enough, then they also pass the evaluation. So those are the evaluation criteria for it to pass. It's gonna be the person who is making the most money from their Lovable app. And it could just be people generally building with Lovable. And just for context, Lovable is a website where you can build websites. It's called lovable.dev. We want to find the power users, essentially, of Lovable. The people who are getting the most value from Lovable. And I want to interview them in a YouTube video. And now I'm building an app with Lovable to do that interview. And I'm asking you, ChatGPT, to write a description of this form app that I'm building. And I, of course, want to be able to log into this form app and see everything displayed beautifully in the backend like a dashboard. And then I'm gonna use this app repeatedly to create competition and games and stuff with the Lovable community. Please write a description of this app so I can then send that description into Lovable so Lovable can create the app. I think this is gonna be fun because this is actually something that I need and we're building it. And most of the tutorials I made have just been like cool apps you can build. This is actually something I need right now to make content. So I think this is going to be fun. I'm just gonna read through this quickly. So here we have the MVP. Things like this, Lovable will figure out. So we don't really need that in our MVP. But you know, it is what it is. I think this is fine. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be an app, right? Like you can submit an app, but I also think it makes sense to just submit what you're doing with Lovable, lovable.dev. If you're doing something cool with Lovable, maybe you have an agency, maybe you have, you know, a YouTube channel. It doesn't have to be the case that you have an app, an agency, and YouTube channel, anything. Like if you are doing something cool with Lovable, then, you know, that's the criteria. So yeah, you can change that. Now, submitting an app is an option. We can add that as an option, but the important part is what cool thing are you doing with Lovable? Look here, this is interesting. So we have some back-end descriptions. Like this is totally irrelevant because Lovable is just gonna choose this for us. So like if ChatGPT is being too descriptive of how we're going to implement things, especially like the backend and what type of stack to use, you can just remove it because Lovable has a predefined stack which works the best for these AI models. So we're just gonna use that. Okay, nice. So I'm just gonna create this and I'm going to create a new Supabase project. And this one I actually can remove. So after I make a video, I always remove the Supabase project. I can't do that now. And also to note, you can now connect your Supabase projects before you actually create the website. So you can create your Supabase project initially and then you can connect it, which is pretty cool, I think. So Lovable form submission. Let's create a password. We probably want to remember this password, but I'm just gonna type something. I think I can generate it. I can generate it and then I can copy it. Well, I think it's all right. I'm just gonna create the project. Supabase have actually updated this so it goes really quickly now. So you don't have to wait that long. So we're just gonna use that. Now, some other things which we can add is that we want to use function calling here. A note, we want to use function calling from OpenAI here to get a reliable formatted response. Okay, let's go for it. Okay, so it seems like Lovable is done. We have an SQL migration here that has been written, so we can read through this. I'm just gonna press apply though, apply changes. We can see that it's doing a bunch of actions here. So it's creating a type or an enum here, app, agency, YouTube, or other. Nice. It's doing another one for pending, pass, future, rejected, and some other stuff. Now, I don't know if rejected is the right word that we should even use here. I think that like no one is gonna get rejected. It's just that I'm just gonna pick the best ones to do interviews with or to do something with. Create a function to handle user signups. I don't know. We have all sorts of things here that we can do. But yeah, so Lovable has just created this schema for us that describes how the database should look like inside of Supabase. And we can probably already see the schema if we go over to Schema Visualizer. And yeah, then we zoom out and we can see we have these tables. We have the profile table, we have the user roles, because we want me to be the kind of dashboard viewer. I want to be able to see all the submissions and stuff, and then and contact people. And then we have the submission table with all which is connected to the user ID right here, which is also connected to the profiles table. So they're connected in such ways, which is pretty nice. Pretty cool. See, all of these three are connected. Either way, let's go back into Lovable. We can see that the agent is working. It's cooking. I actually decided to build this like 20 minutes ago when like 3 minutes before I started this recording. But this is interesting. I'm going to move over to Supabase, manage users, and then I'm going to go into sign in providers. And we can see that we have the default email sign in provider, but we want to enable the Google one. So I'm going to move over to that one, and then I'm going to press on enable signing with Google. And now we're going to have to do some Google shenanigans. So we're going to have to go into Google Cloud Console, and then we're going to have to go to my console. I'm going to create a new project, and I'm going to call it Lovable Form. And I'm going to use a billing account I already have, and no organization. I don't know, do we need an organization? I guess I have an organization called no organization or something. Okay, and now it's being created, and now I can select it. Perfect. Okay, and now if you go over to off screen, someone with an account goes over to off consent screen, then it looks like this. And then you have to press on get started. So I'm just gonna press on get started. Then I'm gonna type in my app name, a lovable form, user support email, go to next, external users. Well, we want external users because we want other people to be able to sign up. And then we have the contact email, and I'm gonna press continue, create. Okay, great. So now we can create the auth client. So I'm gonna do that. And this is a web application, Lovable Form. Right, so Supabase already provides a redirect URL right here. So we want to copy that, and then we want to paste that down here. Authorize redirect URLs. You can see, callback URL. It's kind of the same thing. And then once we have done that, we can use press create. There we go. And this we have to hide in editing because this is secret. But I believe we have to paste this in right here. And then this one is the public one. And this one we paste right here. We can save this. Okay, so I forgot to mention this, but when you add Google Sign Up, you will be redirected to the website when you're finished logging in using Google Sign Up. And we want that redirection to happen to the actual website. And by default, this is happening to localhost, which is not actually the deployed website. So what you have to do is that you have to set up your website URL within Supabase. So you go over to authentication, and then you go down to URL configuration. And here you have your site URL. And this will most likely just say localhost 4000 or something like that. But we want to put in our actual website URL right here. So either our published URL once we have published the website, or you can even put in the preview URL right here, whichever your preview URL is for your project. Of course, you can check that out. Now I'm on a different project, but if you press over there, you get the preview URL, and you would just copy this and put this into Supabase right here and press on save changes. And that way, when you log in with Google Sign Up, when you log in like this, you will be redirected to the actual website like so. Else that won't actually happen if you haven't set that up into Supabase. So important thing to remember. So let's press on sign in. I continue with Google, and I believe we actually have to go to the preview link for the Google sign in to work. So I'm just gonna do that. There we go. And now we're logged in, submit the project, and now we can submit our project. Nice. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try doing something. So I'm gonna say, perfect. Now we want to do it in such a way that there is an admin user or set of users that when they log in, they can see everyone's projects and everyone's submissions in a dashboard. This admin user is identified through their email ending on at lovable.dev. Okay, that's the ending of the email. That's the admin user. Okay, and there can be, of course, multiple admin users with this ending. So the rest of the users will not have access to all of these form submissions. They will just submit their forms, and then the lovable users can read them. Let me wait before I'm going to apply this, and then we will see if this works, and then we will get the AI functionality going. Join the Lovable Community Showcase, where creators share their amazing projects, get AI-powered feedback, and connect with Isaac for interviews and features. Wow, so cool. And I think this is a good project as well, because we can expand upon this as we go. You know, we can add all sorts of things here. Okay, so let's see this now. So it seems like perfect. Admin users with lovable emails are now automatically get admin access and see all the community submissions. Okay, perfect. Now, of course, this logic has to be done through the backend, right? Like we need to make sure that this is done in a safe way. But I think Lovable has made that. If we sign out, and I'm gonna sign in, and I'm gonna sign in with an email which isn't the Lovable email, and yeah, I'm just gonna blur that because it's my private things. And now we submit the project, or actually now we go to dashboard. We only see submit your first project, and if we submit our project, okay, then we have our own project there. But of course we can't see other people's projects. In this case, other people is just my Lovable email. But if we now go to our Lovable email and go to, okay, great. Can you now create that admin dashboard where we can go through these submissions and see them. Let me read here. So create the admin dashboard with advanced submission management features. Admin users with lovable.dev emails can now access /admin. Okay, so I believe we don't have a redirect for it, but if we just go over to /admin, we get redirected to the dashboard admin, which is incorrect. Yeah, so we don't get that yet. I get redirected to the /dashboard when I visit the /admin page, even though I have a lovable email. Okay, perfect. Let's try this prompt. Okay, so it seems like it fixed it now. Perfect. This seems like it figured it out, so I'm just gonna give it a try now. So if I go over to admin, we're still redirected, but perhaps it just didn't update. That could be the issue. Let's try going to admin over there. Let's see. Okay, we still have to log in, which we can't do because we're in the preview mode. That's kind of frustrating. Okay, but it still does not work. I'm changing the URL manually to admin, to /admin, and I still get redirected /dashboard. Even when I'm logged in with my Lovable account, I will include a screenshot of my Lovable email here on the app so you can see. And there's no UI indication that I am an admin either. Okay, that was a good prompt, I think. I think what would be interesting to do now is go over to Supabase and actually see what's going on here. All right, so we have the users here. We have my Lovable user and my private user, and then we also have the policies. And I believe that the policies are the things which we have to care about. So admins can view all submissions, which is what we want. Right. Okay. Lovable figured it out. Okay. This is actually quite cool. So it seems like I was already heading in this direction while checking the properties of the users. Right. So we have a property called here user roles. So we have our user roles table right here, and we can see that both of the users are users and not admins. They should be admins. And the reason why they're both users is probably because we implemented the admin check after we signed up. So we signed up and it made us a user, and then we added the admin check. So Lovable, or that is what Lovable is suggesting, and I think Lovable's analysis is correct. So now it's just going to run this SQL query where it's going to check for this thing right here, and it's going to update all the users. So if a user has this, then make the user an admin. So my camera ran out of battery, but I think we're good now. But okay, either way, I think it should work now. So now if we open up Lovable and we're logged in, yes, we have the admin panel. Let's go. And now we see all of the projects. Let's go. Our thing is now working. Perfect. Yeah, this is great. Okay, now this is kind of working, and we can filter out things and everything. What I think we need now is that we need the AI evaluation function. So I'm gonna add that. I'm just gonna be like, perfect. Now it works. Make it now. So when you submit an application, all of the context surrounding that application, I'm talking about the description, the money it makes, all of the text data, send that over to OpenAI. You know what? Actually, screw OpenAI. Screw OpenAI. We're gonna use Gemini for this. Actually, replace this with Gemini. We want to use Gemini instead. I hope I hope ChatGPT won't reject this prompt that we're ditching it, but I think that's fine. So to use Gemini, which is Google's model, we have to go over, I think it's Google AI Studio, and because we created the Google projects for this app, and the Google project is called Lovable Form. And I believe if we go into AI Studio, Google AI Studio, and then we press on Get API Key, we can actually just select our project right here. So if we press on Create API Key, we can search for Google projects. And there we have it, Lovable Form. Create an API key in existing projects. Perfect. Let's wait for this to load. Let's copy this. And this is secret. We don't want to show this. And well, actually, let's okay, I just wanted the prompt. I didn't want you to write all of this. I just want you to fix the prompt that I sent. Like, make it use Gemini instead of OpenAI, the prompt. Don't write it, just rewrite the prompt. I'm gonna use this prompt to another AI. So we have a lot of AI action going on right here, but I think it's all right. We're moving the effort from my brain into an AI's brain. It's not working. We're just gonna have to do this manually. So I'm just gonna go over here, and then I'm just gonna, let me close this. Okay, and then I'm just gonna use Google Gemini. Tell Gemini and which model of Gemini, because this is also important. What model do we want to use? Saving this secret API key somewhere else. Okay, it's already leaked. Okay, whatever. We'll have to hide it in editing. The question is, which model do we use? This is the thing. Like the OpenAI, the Google Docs are just so complicated, kind of, because we have these models. I want to use something cheap. We want to use the Flash one. So the Flash one is the cheap one. So I'm just gonna tell us to use Gemini Flash. Now, does Gemini have function calling? I don't actually know that. I think Lovable will have to figure that one out if available. Is there anything else we should include in this prompt? No, I think that's all right. Okay, so now we're adding this functionality, and I'm positive about this. I think this is gonna work first try actually. Perfect. So now it's telling us to add our API key. I'm gonna add our API key and submit that. And no thanks. And should we just give this a try now, maybe? Lovable even redirects us to Gemini Studio. Very nice. Very nicely done, Lovable. So we didn't have to actually search that up on our own if we would have been a bit patient. But I think it was easier to just do it like that. So now we're kind of doing the Google stack in a way. Okay, so now it's creating the evaluation system. Okay, so it seems like we're finished. Let's now give this a try. So I'm gonna open it up now in a new thing. Now the AI functionality should work. So we're logged in on our normal account, and now if we submit a project, like I created the portfolio website with the Lovable called the portfolio website for my online business with Lovable. This is an app/web description. So make it a photography portfolio website. And then let's just use this as the URL. Let's say we're making around 6,000 a month. And let's add some tag. Portfolio could be the tag, and photography could be the tag. Submit project. Okay. And there we have it. Wait, we actually got a score. That was really quick. So we had an 8 out of 10 as the score. And I think that was AI generated. What we could do is that we could actually get back to Lovable, and we can open up Supabase, and we can check in the edge function. And the edge function is the place where this kind of AI functionality should run. So I'm gonna open up edge functions, and we can actually do this directly here. We can just press on edge functions logs. Then I'm just gonna let this wait a while, and now we can read the logs here. So we can see the AI evaluation here. Maybe we go to raw, and maybe we can see it more clearly. So let's see here. We have the score and the rationale. The project demonstrates a good balance of innovation and revenue potential. The portfolio website showcases a new creative approach to presenting photography while also generating a solid monthly return. Yeah, okay, cool. So let's try something else. Let's try this one more time now, but with some other type of website. So submit new project. Let's call this, let's try to get a 10 out of 10. So AI enhanced spreadsheet. And this is a web app. I made an AI enhanced spreadsheet, kind of like Cursor, but for spreadsheets. And these are actually, like, there are startups building this, I think. So there definitely are. So this is like a good idea, I think. But for spreadsheets, let's get a project URL here. Let's put in the monthly recurring revenue. Let's just put this like at 30,000. And this should get like a 10 out of 10, I think. And let's say AI as tag, submit project. And okay, we still got an 8 out of 10. So maybe it's not actually having any AI functionality yet. Let's try this one more time. So let's just spam. Okay, let's just type something in. Let's not think too much about it. And let's see what we get. Could this be that we have to adjust the prompt? Yeah, and now we get a 5 out of 10. So it seems like the prompt is very strangely prompted. And I think we can actually change this manually. So if you do have a Lovable Pro plan, you can actually edit the code manually. So I might just do that in this case because I want to clearly be able to read the prompt. So I'm going to go back to Lovable. I'm going to open chat only mode and I'm going to paste in the prompt again. And then I'm just going to say, I changed the prompt a bit to this right here, but I want to add some more things. So if it's just gibberish within the submission, then we of course don't want to give it a score at all. Like then we want the score to be 0. If 0 is an option, can you score 0 out of 10? Maybe you can't. Maybe that's a bit strange. So let's just do it. Or actually, I have enabled the 0 as an option. So maybe we should change that. Let's just make it 1 out of 10, right? Like would you be able to give people 0? And I don't think you should be able to give someone 0. Or I don't know. I don't think that makes sense. I don't know. I would love to hear your opinion on this. But I think 1 out of 10 makes sense. So if it's just gibberish, then we give it a 1. If it's just a simple like portfolio website, then we should give it like maybe a 2 or a 3. If it's a portfolio website which is making a lot of money, then maybe we can give it a higher score, maybe a 6. And if it's a website which is a SaaS product and it's making a lot of money, then we need to give it a really high score. And if it's a very innovative SaaS product making a lot of money, then we also need to give it a big score. So maybe you can give some examples within the prompt, perhaps, to improve the prompt engineering here on the website. Yeah, so I'm just gonna send that now. And clearly the AI functionality is working though, which is great. And we can also just try logging into our other account quickly. And then we should be able to see the admin. And yes, we have the projects here. And we should also be able to sort this. We have the total revenue right here, which is very cool. And yeah, this is pretty lit. And I can feature these projects. I can visit them. Okay, let's read this prompt. So this is a very extensive prompt. Please evaluate this project submission using a 1 to 10 scale based on the revenue potential and innovation/coolness. We have this right here. Yes. Okay, I think this makes sense. Okay, well, I'm just gonna press on implement plan because I think this looks good. And there we go. Now, another thing that I would like to be able to do is that I would like to be able to contact these individuals, maybe through, some sort of chat functionality. But I think we can just go with email, though contacting through chat would also be an option. And maybe even providing a phone number. Okay, let's try this again now. So now it has updated the prompt. We can even, let's go into the code, or we can press on the diff, I think, code like that. And then we can just see the difference. So we have added these things, some examples, and also removed some of these things, which is pretty good. And we have changed these things to be between 1 and 10 instead, which is perfect. Now we can try this. So I'm going to open the preview link again, and I'm going to log out and then log in with my other account. And now I'm going to submit the project. So let's try gibberish. So I'm just going to do gibberish, submit. Of course, someone can actually lie on the revenue stats, which is possible, but I will just have to verify that, I guess. Okay, but here we have, okay, let's see. Yeah, we got a 1 out of 10. Okay, perfect. And now let's do something more serious. So let's say I built a website that connects window cleaners with the people who want their windows cleaned. And let's say that I am making, this is a web app. So we're making 30K a month with this web app. It's a web app where you can connect people sort of like Uber, but it's window cleaners and house owners. You probably want the longer description here, maybe how long you've been working on it and stuff like that. That's fine. Let's submit this. I expect like a 10 out of 10 almost. Okay, we got an 8 out of 10. So I think that's fine. I think that makes sense. Let's try something else. I built a photography portfolio website for my photography agency. Let's paste this in and let's say we're making $500 a month. Let's submit this. And we got a 5 out of 10. Very cool. The admin should be able to see the user's email. This is also kind of like an official website for Lovable, so we ought to use the Lovable theme on the website. I sent some screenshots of the Lovable theme. Site can also be called Lovable Users. That's such a genius name. It's like Lovable Users, and it has like a double meaning. But all of our users are lovable. But I mean, I guess these are, our power users. But also I want to host competitions on this website. So I'll have to figure that one out as well. Okay, well, I wrote this prompt. I'm just going to submit it. Okay, so it seems like Lovable has added these features now. So we can see that the theme kind of looks more like Lovable. We have the crown here. I think that's fine. I don't think that matters that much. But it doesn't entirely look like Lovable, if I'm going to be honest. It doesn't entirely look like Lovable. I'm going to I'm gonna search up the Lovable logo, and I'm gonna download it, and I'm gonna use it within the app. So we have this one right here, and then we also have this color right here. It would be, do I have, I know there's software you can like select the color. This is the Lovable logo and the text. Please use it in the top left corner. Please use it in the left top. Okay, we can have that like that. Please use this background color. This is the official Lovable background color. Please use it instead of the white that you are using. Okay, so now I'm teaching people how to make Lovable clones. I think this makes sense, right? Like this is the official color, I think, right? Let me try pasting this one in again. So if I paste this one in, it changes a bit, but I think it's all right. I think it's all good. I think it's all good in Hood. I'm gonna submit this. And see, this looks a bit weird now because the user is a bit it's a bit smaller than the Lovable brand, but I think we can solve that as well. We can use the new visual edits to resolve this issue, but right now it's loading, so we can't do visual edits while Lovable is loading, unfortunately. This looks weird. Make the logo smaller and match the users text. Ooh, do I like this project? Do I like this image right here? I think this image is decent. It's decent, but I actually think we can make it better. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over to Midjourney, and I'm going to AI generate a video. Okay, let's see. Okay, these videos are not done yet. Okay, these ones are done. So this is how the videos look like. It's pretty cool, I must say. You can kind of clearly see that they're AI generated. But I think if we animate these ones, which are not actually trying to look realistic, then we will get a way more clean result. Also, can you use this video on the landing page as the background of the landing page? Don't make it too obstructive. Maybe you can have a subtle black tint on it. Not super, it shouldn't be the main focus of the website. And then also, I think we should change the texting of the website. The text should be featured on the Lovable YouTube channel. Submit your project or submit a description of what you're doing or building with Lovable, and you might be featured in a video. Maybe through an interview, maybe in a competition, all sorts of things. Maybe not include all of that in the subtitle, but maybe you can include those as bullet points or something, or how it works, and so on. Then also remove the featured projects section. And we can actually, instead of having a featured project section, we could have a featured like people section, I think, in the future. Look at this. This is so good. And though I must say, like, this is so good. This is actually so good. What I'm going to be doing now is that I'm going to be downloading the raw video, and then I'm going to be uploading this on the Supabase project. So I'm going to go over to manage users, or actually, and then I'm going to go back, and then I'm going to go to storage, new bucket. Okay, we create the bucket, video, landing page video. This is a public bucket, and now we can drop in our file. So now I'm going to drop in the video, and then I'm going to copy the video URL. Okay, that's not the get URL. I'm going to press on get URL. Then I'm going to say here is or actually I'm going to go up in the prompt. Here is the video URL. Just embed the video directly. Don't download it. Yeah, I think this makes sense. Section. Okay, I think this is good. And I'm just gonna submit that. And we should have like a clear call to action. Okay, so I'm just gonna apply this. So we see that to implement this constraint, so we only have one submission per user, and to actually have that be a constraint within the logic of the database, then we have this SQL migration that had to be ran. And then we have another one, and it is duplicate submission first. Okay, apply these changes. Well, this is a long prompt. We're trying to really like cram things in, which, is not always the best practice, but I think it's fine in this case because we have the agent. Okay, but it seems like Lovable has finished it right now, and we have this beautiful background, and I actually think this looks really, really nice. Let's see if we can manually change the logo to make it make more sense. Okay, this actually looks really good, I think. We have the landing page. We want to remove this thing. I'm just gonna press delete. How does it look like? Now we can even add a competition page. I think we should do that. Okay, perfect. Can you now add the competition/event page? So we have the home page or the submission page, and then we have the competition/events page. When you go on the website, you get to the submission project page. But then we should also have the events page. And maybe we even have a section of the preview of the event page. And then we need some sort of calendar system or something. I don't know. I think you can fix that within Supabase. But with it can just be preview the UI in the beginning. Like, we don't need to have it to work right now. We can add that later. Now, another thing which might be nice is a way for us to kind of review each project step by step, kind of like a CRM. We need to be able to like put them into buckets, like reviewed, not reviewed, contacted, not contacted. So we need a short list. So I'm going to prepare a prompt for that. Perfect. Now, I think it would be nice if the admin was able to sort projects based on their score and sort them based on their revenue. I think those sorting features would be nice in the admin panel. Then also, I think it would be nice to kind of make it like a CRM where you can shortlist certain submissions and you can put the best ones in a specific buckets. So maybe you have like 3 buckets, like shortlist. You have the submissions, shortlist, and then the contacted, and then the answered or in touch with, interested. So maybe like 4 buckets. I think that makes sense, right? Or do you have a better suggestion? Perfect. Now we have the competition page. Let me just open that up in a new tab and let's see how it looks like. So yeah, this looks good. This looks really good. This one is a bit scuffed though, but we don't have any competitions yet. Okay, so I'm just gonna send this prompt right here to make it such that we can actually handle all of these applications in a better way, because I will manually go through them. Okay, and I'm sending this in chat mode as well, so we can press on implement plan, because I will manually go through them and I will press on implement plan. Okay, so now we have the shortlist, contacted, in discussion, completed. Makes sense. This looks good. I think this makes sense. So I'm just gonna press on implement plan. So now we will be able to sort submissions more easily, kind of like a CRM. And as you guys can see, Lovable has written a lot of code in this migration right here because we're adding so many things. I mean, the complexity of this is pretty huge. We want to allow admins to be able to write dynamic data and create input fields. Like we want to create dynamic data and we want to be able to change the dynamics of the data that we're creating. So it's a higher order dynamicness that we're adding to the web app right now. So, it's pretty cool. Okay, so Lovable is finished now. It seems like we have something still needs completion. Update the competition page to use database instead of static data. Adding routing for admin/events in app.txt and navigation link to admin dashboard. Okay, well, I think those things can be fixed quite easily. Okay, can you add the rest of the things that still need completion and also make sure that the admin has the right, RLS rules or whatever to be able to access this page and all of that stuff. All right. Okay, so let's see now. Lovable is done cooking, it seems like. Okay, it's still loading. The preview is still loading. Okay, manage events. Okay, I didn't see that before. So I believe it has updated. Yes. Admin, manage events, create events. Perfect. Okay, here we go. Let's try like submitting into this event. Let's try like joining this event. So I'm gonna log out and I'm gonna go to competitions. It seems like we had the event is not over there because we haven't published it yet. So let's publish it. Draft published. Save. Nice. Log out. Sign in. Register now. Discord tab. Okay. Yes, this makes sense because we just had one input field, which was the Discord tag. So this makes a lot of sense. Now we could add another one, which could be like the phone number. Screw it. Let's have an unlimited number of participants. And I'm gonna live stream it as well. It's going to be a live stream, and I'm gonna get me and Alex to live stream it. And it's going to be super fun. That's the plan. Okay, well, I think this makes sense. So I'm just gonna register with the username. There we go. Complete registration. And now let's see. Can I actually see this on my dashboard? Submit project competition. Register now. Well, we shouldn't be able to register multiple times. You were already registered for this event. Okay, nice. It already says you're already registered. Well, what we should do is that we should indicate that we're already registered. So, but before we do that, let's just make sure that we can see the user as an admin. Okay, one registered, and we should be able to see all of the registered users. Okay, perfect. So now if you are a user and you have registered to the event, the register now button should not be present, and instead it should just say you have registered or something like that. And then also as an admin, when you are looking into the manage events page, you should be able to get a list of all of the registered users, and you should be able to search within that list and so on. I think this makes a lot of sense. Good job. We always gotta be nice to Lovable. Okay, perfect. Now, in this view that the admin has of the participants, can we also display the custom fields that the admin might have added to the event sign-up page? Maybe, yeah, can we also display that for each user? I think that would be good. Okay, I think we are finished. I think I just gotta make sure that this data is actually reflected. Number of participants, yes. I don't know why it says 0 here. Okay, nice. A couple of issues I found. One of them being that the number of participants says 0 when I'm just logged in as a normal user. I think it has to do with the OS policies that we can't read the number of users when we are a normal user compared to an admin, or maybe it has some other cause, this issue. And then I found another issue, which is when we press register now and we don't have an account, a pop-up pops up, which is correct. and then when it tells us that we have to sign up, but then when we press on like a complete registration, it doesn't actually take us to the Google sign up page or whatever. So we have to fix that so it actually takes us to that page. Other than that, I think this looks pretty good. Let me know if there are any other errors which might be present. Also, this has to reflect the real thing. We have emojis and stuff. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, okay, so I was correct. So it was the RLS policies. So let's just press on implement plan. So RLS policies, like these are the type of errors the RLS policies can cause. All right, so I'm just gonna press on apply changes because it seems like we're written this security rule here. So now this should be fixed and we should now be able to see how many users there is at an event. Yes, even though we're not signed up. Perfect. And then we have to connect this one right here. Connect the Discord link. Can you also make it such that all the links to Discord use this link? Now, agent mode is actually better at doing this right now because agent mode can more easily make changes across the code base, such as changing links across the code base or even changing how a component looks like and then adjusting its application across the code base, which is something which instant single shot mode was struggling with. Because it's pretty complicated task if you're changing a component or a data structure and multiple things depend on it, because then you may have to look into each of these cases and see if the updated version of the component actually works. So yeah, now you guys are learning a bunch of programming stuff. Okay, here we have the events. Perfect. And we should also change the text right there. Nice, perfect. Can we also now maybe fix the styling a bit? So I'm thinking that maybe we should make the description a Markdown editor, and then we allow people to make it in Markdown. Yes, this looks a bit messy. Okay, so I just realized the description looks a bit messy. It would be nice if we can make it look more clean. So maybe we can have the description. You can show a quick preview of what the hackathon is, and then we have a main description of the hackathon or a main description of the event. Okay, so if you guys don't know Markdown, Markdown is a way to write text. It's essentially like a programming language or use the styling language. So this is kind of the comparison. So this is how it looks like when you write it. You use these different symbols and then it renders like this. So when you're building in Lovable and you have some sort of dynamic data that the user is allowed to write, then you may want to allow the user to write inside of Markdown. And then you would have to have, some sort of Markdown editor, and you can just tell Lovable to add that. And then you would have to render out that Markdown as well. So in our case, the admin has the Markdown editor, and then we will have to render out the Markdown in these sections right here for it to display. You can even add like a screenshot here, which is pretty cool, I think. But I don't think that's necessary. I think we should actually. Do we need a screenshot? We really need a screenshot. I think we should just make this a bit more easy. I think we should remove the screenshots. Also, for the project submission, we should remove the requirement for screenshots or even the option to add screenshots because it's just not necessary. And then we should also have one field which is right now it just says public URL. I think we should have deployed app URL, and then we should have one called lovable URL or lovable project URL. Okay, nice. This is looking good. So we can expand this like that. Very nice, very nice. And then also these tags. I don't know. Do we need the tags? I think the tags are fine, I guess. But I think for the events, we don't need requirements. So I'm gonna remove this. And then also for the events, I don't think we need a requirements field, as the user would just be able to write the requirements inside of the description of the event, I think. If I'm not mistaken, maybe you can give me some feedback on that actually. Actually, I won't send that in prompt. I will send this prompt first and then I will send the other prompt in chat only mode to discuss that beforehand, because I think it makes sense to just have the requirements here, I think. And I think while this is waiting, I'm actually going to open up Midjourney again and I'm going to use this prompt now. I'm going to go back to ChatGPT and then I'm going to say, I really like this prompt right here. Now I want to create another image and I want this to be on the competition page or on the events page. So right now I was creating the home page. Now I want the events page. And on the events page, I'm thinking that we're gonna do a lot of hackathons. So maybe figure out like a prompt for that as well. Let's see. We did a lot of changes. So we have, let's open this up. So let's go here. Let's go to the admin panel, manage, create event, and we should ask about the requirement. Okay, then also for the admin panel, should we have the requirements thing, or do you think the description is sufficient? We just have the requirements in the description, or how does the requirements differentiate itself from the descriptions? Do the requirements pop up when the user presses sign up, or how are you thinking about this? We're gonna have to log out, or we're gonna have to. I think we can actually submit. Yeah, we can submit logo. Okay, we gotta remove the logo as well. Okay, so as you guys can see, this is how our Markdown editor should look like, right? Like this is how it should render out. Still not super beautiful. We should remove these spaces, I think. Something like that. But for some reason in Lovable, it does not look like that, right? So something's clearly wrong here. But it could just be that it's the... Okay, well, as you guys can see, the siphons are disappearing, right? So we had siphons right here, and they're not present in the preview. And I think that suggests that the Markdown is actually working, but that the stylings are not being applied, right? So the siphons are disappearing, which they're supposed to do when you're doing Markdown. You see, no siphons, but they're not being replaced by the dots. So I happen to know this issue when programming. So I'm just gonna say, I think the Markdown is working, but I think we have forgotten to add a styling to the Markdown. I think we have downloaded some Markdown package, right? That has rendered the Markdown, but we need the correct CSS style spreadsheet to actually be able to render the Markdown out, right? Is that correct? Which package are we using, and does the package do this for us? Or do we have to do it manually? I don't want to have to do this manually. Make sure that the package has the correct CSS classes to render out the Markdown in the Markdown like styling with the bullet points and everything. Okay, requirements. Must have lovable. No need to have credits. We give 200 for free. Okay, maybe that's too much. I don't know. I have to figure out the rules later on. Must yeah, that's essentially must have lovable. No requirements. Let's try saving this. And let's try going into the... Nice. You're absolutely right. Okay, so I was right. I'm always right, guys. I'm always right. Okay, I'm joking. But I actually fully... I don't see the requirements. Like, what are the requirements? Like, okay, here we have the requirements. No requirements. No need to have credits. We give... Okay, nice. So no requirements. That's perfect. And requirements is optional, so I don't even have to add any requirements. Okay, nice. Okay, I think we're done. I think this looks nice. We have all of the functionality that we're looking for. Now it's just also some housekeeping, but this is some more intense housekeeping. Okay, so the coding montage can end. Now we can begin with some real housekeeping. Okay, and one of those things that we have to do, I think, before we publish the app is that we have to fix SEO. So what SEO is that what is SEO? SEO is kind of an ability for a search engine to find your website, search engine optimization. Okay, and there are some basic things you can do for SEO. I'm just gonna I can just ask ChatGPT. I can just ask Global, I meant. So what are some things we can do to fix the SEO of our website? Can you please fix those things? And you know what? Instead of sending this, I'm just gonna directly do a security scan because it might actually catch the SEO problems. Perhaps not, but maybe it will. So we have a new feature that allows you to scan your project. So if you go to publish and then you press on review security, then Lovable will send out an agent that is going to review your project and its security rules to make sure that it doesn't have any vulnerabilities. So I'm just gonna let Lovable do that. So let's just read through these quickly. They're warnings, not errors. Let's see, leaked password. Okay, so Supabase prevents the use of compressed passwords by checking against some sort of database. To have this, you have to buy Supabase Premium, which I can't be bothered. We have detected you have enabled the email provider more than an hour. It's recommended to set this value less than an hour. Okay, so this is just some recommendation. I don't think it's super important, but it's essentially how often this right here, like how often this will expire. So we can decrease this a bit, like that, and I think that's less than an hour. I guess we can just have it set to 599 like that, and then this error should go away. So if we now go back here and we refresh, or I'm at warning, that warning should go away. See, it's gone. Function public.update at column has a role mutable search path. I don't really know what that means, if I'm going to be honest. So I'm going to ask the assistant, what does this mean? Okay, so the error, this one is working, and it seems like we have the same issue right here. When it comes to fixing these things, I would not ask Supabase. And it's not because Supabase is bad in any ways, but it's because Supabase does not know everything about our project, but Lovable does. And it seems like Lovable has actually detected these issues even when I did the security scan, which is perfect. Actually, this is something else. Okay, well, nice. I fixed some of the issues, like the time, and I noticed some Supabase things. So I'm gonna take a screenshot of this as well. And as you guys can tell, just some Supabase things. I like your suggestions. Let's go through with them, I think. And I'm just gonna send this. Okay, so as we can see, Lovable has done this analysis, and it's very, very thorough. I think it's maybe even more thorough than what like a developer would do in most cases, maybe. Or they would definitely check the RLS security rules. But in a lot of the times when you're doing the security scan, you may catch things outside of the security rules, such as sanitization and stuff like that. Which, if I'm going to be honest, in my personal projects that I build at home and stuff, I usually don't do any of that because I just can't be bothered. But now with AI, I mean, why not? You know. So let's press apply and let's fix these things. Now another thing that I'm gonna do after I've waited for this to finish is that I'm gonna test the application again, because it could be the case that we have added security rules now that hinder us from doing certain things, that we have kind of overprotected our app, and that can happen sometimes. So it's always good to check things right after you do one of these security checks or scans when you're doing a bunch of like SQL migrations and stuff to see if everything works. And if something stops working now, then I kind of know why, right? It's because I added all of these RLS policies, and it's important to note that even if I revert now, the RLS policies won't change. Only the front end, but the database won't change, and the rules within the database won't change. So it's important to kind of know now that, okay, we made these changes, and if we find any errors, then we have to tell Lovable, we just made a bunch of RLS policy changes, and now this feature is not working. I think you might have, made a change which causes this feature not to work. So that's very important. So let's just update this project now, I guess. Update. I think, are we missing something? Phone number. Okay. Update. Nice. This seems to be working. We're logged in as admin right now. Let's try registering. Complete registration. Nice. Now we have 2 participants. And yeah, I mean, this seems to be working. And we have now done this like security scan. And we're also just changing the UI now to make it look more clean. I think the last thing is now to add SEO. So I'm just going to say, can you please now add SEO to the website? Optimize the SEO of the website. Okay. And it's very important to do these hand movements when you're prompting Lovable. Else it won't work, guys. This is peak prompt engineering. And then we also need to buy a domain. And I'm actually going to buy a domain for this one because, or will I? Can I change this one? Can I change? Actually, I'm not going to buy one. I'm just going to change it. I'm going to change it to Lovable Users. Lovable Users. I don't know if it's going to be available. Rename project. Okay, only lowercase letters. Yeah, that works. Let's go. It was available. Okay, and then I'm gonna add SEO optimization, very important. And then while that's loading, we already had we had this mid-journey prompt cooking. So I'm gonna go back to that. Like I think there are some finishing touches we can do as well. Okay, I think this looks cool. This is what we got. But I think it would be better if we had a more close-up image, because I think the quality would be better than of the humans especially. And yeah, generally the quality needs to be better. I don't know why, but it doesn't look good. I think we just need to be more close up, and if you can improve it, make the images more nice. Like if we take a look at these ones, I mean, this is so sick, and this is created with Midjourney. I mean, look at this. I don't know why it's lagging though. I mean, maybe I'm missing. Am I missing something? What is it? Okay, this is the size. Okay, so it has fixed a bunch of SEO things. We can actually show you guys what this actually means. So if we go here, it adds a file called index.html, or maybe it was already present. But it adds all of these meta tags, which is like the name of the page and stuff like that, that actually shows up right here. So if you see on Lovable, we have this description right here, we have the name, the sub pages, and all of that stuff is like SEO metadata stuff. So it's like stuff about the website which are kind of contained outside of the website. So this is nice. Now we can press publish. So I'm gonna do that. Very exciting. Very, very exciting. Nice. Lovable users.lovable app. Very cool. Very cool. And now we could also remove the Lovable badge. But if I'm going to be honest, I actually like the badge because it's a Lovable website. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of proves that this is built by Lovable. I think it's kind of cool. But if you want to remove the badge, you can just toggle this right here. But you have to be on ProPan to do that though. But either way, I think this looks really, really cool. I'm just waiting to see. Yeah, this right here. Okay, this is pretty cool. I like this. I like this. I think this is fun. Yeah, I really like these animations. I'm gonna upscale them. Now we could also connect up a custom domain. And you will just do that by pressing on connect custom domain. And then you can connect it from another website. But then you can also buy one. Okay, and I'm gonna upload this video as well. And then I'm going to grab the URL. And then I'm going to say, nice, perfect. Let's now add this video as the background for the competitions page. And let's actually rename the competitions page to events, not competitions, just events. And I think that's it. Is there anything else which we should add to this website? I don't think so, right? And I hope it just adds the URL directly and does not try to download it. The only thing I'm thinking is that we should center this. Can we also center the navigation bar in the middle of the bar? or it next to the button on the right, because right now it looks a bit off. Sorry, I gave you the wrong URL to the background image or the background video. Here is the right URL. And then also, can you make it such that only the top part is using this background video? Okay, nice. Okay, I think this is all we need. Nice. Good stuff. Lovable. Why do I not see it? Why do I not see it? Okay. The video background has a dark overlay. This looks good. Maybe we still have a bit of tint on it so we can see the text more clearly. Participants, +2. +2 participants. This is crazy, guys. Okay, nice. This looks really clean. This looks amazing, I think. And I think we should just publish this now. Like, maybe a good thing to add would be like a footer. But it doesn't really matter. Like, we don't need a footer. We absolutely don't need a footer at this point. We're chilling now. Nice. Events. We have the video. Perfect. And maybe we can check if it's mobile responsive as well. Yes, it is. Nice. Very nice. We need to fix this button so it takes us to /events instead of /competitions. And we need to make the mobile bar or the mobile nav bar responsive. Okay, nice. Perfect. Okay, we're done. We have our website now. It has the AI functionality, which we were looking for. And we can probably expand on this so much. But I think generally, this is a very broadly useful project to know how to build with Lovable, because you can do so many things with this. I mean, a lot of businesses require like lead submissions and so on, and if you can use AI to evaluate those submissions, then that's pretty awesome, and you can easily just do that with Lovable. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty sick. Lovableusers.app. Well, this was it for this video. I guess you guys can visit this website right now and apply for this hackathon that we're doing. I'm gonna have to, figure out the details and everything, but the plan is to make this into a YouTube video itself, where we're kind of streaming the whole thing and also recording it. And then we're gonna, judge the different projects. We're gonna pull people in on Discord and we're gonna talk to them and they can explain the projects that they built. And then the winner gets $1,000. And then we upload it to the YouTube channel. I think that's gonna be pretty fun, I think. So yeah, go to this website that we just built and I will read through. Or actually, you don't have to apply. This is like free, so you can just attend. I guess if you have any exciting projects in Lovable that you have built and you have revenue and you have users, or you have like a Lovable agency, then you can just submit it right here. And then we might be able to do an interview on the Lovable YouTube channel or something similar. One of those interviews might be posted before this video is out. I'm not sure. But yeah, bye bye.